Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and it's Ladies' Night. Every woman gets 50% off on her beverages of choice, including Coca-Colas and water. How are you, Aprylete? How are you doing?
Aprylete is Aprylete is well. Cannot complain because there are always things that could be worse. So we're well. We're well.
Okay, so Aprylete is well, and you're well.
Yeah. Both of me. Both sides of me.
She, her, and you.
Exactly.
Hello, Yolanda. How are you?
Hello, Sybil. I'm happy. How are you? I'm great.
You're always happy,
I am.
but you
Love
got a
that.
headache.
I have a slight headache. That's all
Is it
right.
is it a tension headache? Is it a sinus
This is
headache?
sinus headache. It's right here. It's right
Mm.
there. Right there on my sinuses.
Hmm. And it goes from there all the way back
It's right here. And it
uh,
goes like that.
around your eyes.
And you wear it like glasses. Y'all bear with me today, okay?
That was
Mm.
very funny. That was a very funny from you, her, and she.
How are
All
you
three of you.
today?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. You were saying that Thursday comes around very quickly. It's Saturday. It's Sunday and Monday for me. But Thursdays come around. Is that because of this show?
I think so. So it's just like every time a Thursday happens, I'm like, oh, it's Thursday again. And it just seems like we were just all together. So you haven't missed a beat. Like there's nothing new. You haven't missed a beat, Sybil.
I miss a beat or two, but thank you for that. Thank you. I do miss a beat. Yolanda, thank you for feeding me yesterday and today.
Mm.
Um, I, we went to lunch after an appointment yesterday, and I had enough left over for a meal for today. Actually, soup last night and salad today. So thank you.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yummy.
yeah. It's
Can't
delicious.
wait to get on that list.
It's not an easy list to get on, kiddo. Trust and
Man.
believe. Trust and believe.
She went to the doctor with me, and we just kept going around. It wasn't. I don't like. I don't like going places. I
He
really
really
like.
doesn't.
We are literally one and the same, low
Yeah,
key, because I don't either.
yeah.
That's why I'm trying to get on somebody's list.
But I'm really good with that. I'm not bored. I'm not depressed. I'm good. And
Yeah.
so I have a lot of lunch dates that I need to do, that I would like to do, even like my mama. And I just can't get it on the calendar.
We're
Fine.
like, your mama's birthday's coming up. What you want to do?
I
We,
know.
we got to
Good.
do something.
Hold on. I'm like, April, I was like, again?
The birthday that came again.
Yes. Gee. It's like you and Thursdays. It seems like it just keep happening.
And if you're lucky, it will keep happening.
Yes,
For a
that's
That
while
is
right.
true.
longer. So wow. But I enjoyed it. So thank you.
All right.
'Cause she would rather just have food delivered,
Hmm.
pizza or a sandwich, or only when she goes out for like steak or something. I think would you be willing to go out?
I don't have to ever go out.
Okay. And she has to keep
Fine.
reminding me of that because I'm like, this is a great day. Let's not.
Mm-mm.
Right.
You know what? Really quick, I know we're on time, like a time schedule, but when you don't like to go out and people ask you, or if you don't ask them, do they ever feel like, "Ooh, that Yolanda doesn't want to hang out"? Because I have to tell people in my life, like, I probably would never ask you to do something, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. It's just that I necessarily don't want to do things. So don't look for me to ask you to, like, hey,
So
let's
are
do
you are you one of those? So you have to ask me because I will forget. Because I think that's what it is with Yolanda. She's like, I'm really happy with this, and so I don't even think of the pleasantries and inviting someone to do something.
No, because I just don't want to do it. And
I
but April, I understand, but that
I was
has
trying to put
nothing.
it in a nicer
Right?
way.
No, I'm just saying, but that doesn't have anything to do with my affection towards you.
Right. That's
Yeah.
that's an understandable thing. So it's just like, do people in your life understand that? So it's just like,
You know what? I'm not responsible for anybody else's feelings but myself.
Mm,
My heart is good, my intentions are pure, and I'm not responsible for how you feel.
that's a
Wow.
word,
Why
y'all.
do I feel there are people behind me that are that should be receiving that message?
No, Aprylette, and that don't make me like I'm a nice, compassionate person. But like you said Sunday on the production call, I choose me,
Yeah.
you know,
And
and
like
I
you
but I
said,
but I'm not selfish, I'm very generous, but I
yeah.
just know because you have to have. I have learned that I have to because I want to spread joy and peace into the world,
How do
and
you do
so
that?
being nice.
No, I'm being by being in your house.
Well, because I have to get out, and so when I get out, I do. But I'm good at calling. Like I can get a good phone call, girl, and it could be great, and we can rah 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 and ha ha ha.
And key, all on the phone in the comfort
Yeah,
of your home.
why not?
Wow, and y'all are poets. Okay. You- You're kindred spirits and you're poets. But that brings up what I think I'm going to try to make that into an express yourself question for today. What's really going on? So let's talk a little bit about the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our Monday through Friday newsletter in which we seek to super serve the African American community with our stories, and as oftentimes about African Americans, but certainly we have African Americans bringing you the stories to you. And Aprylette is our mental health and wellness contributor. And this particular day, she's right up. She's really speaking Yolanda's language, not
Yes.
only in terms of their solitude, but also Aprylette writes about schools that are turning to yoga, meditation, and mindfulness exercises to help the students with their mental health.
Yeah, and I thought this was very fitting. So, Yogi, I know that you would love this. And school has started for many people across, the country. And right here in the U.S., in Atlanta, Georgia, there is a program that is audio based that they have turned to pretty much help with mindfulness. It's a mindfulness program, and they're pretty much saying after COVID-19 that a lot of students are still struggling with their mental health, whether that's stress, anxiety, a little bit of depression. And the CDC is on board with adding these programs into the classroom. So Smith Elementary, that's a Clayton County public school in Atlanta, is one of the schools that has adopted this program. And this school district is 2/3 students, they are Black. So reaching our community. And this is through a program called Green Light Fund Atlanta. And so they are a fundraising network organization that just hooks up the schools with nonprofits. And so again, that program is called Inner Explore. It's an audio platform. And so the program guides students and teachers through a 5 to 10 minute session of breathing and meditating and reflecting several times of the day. So all the teacher has to do is push a button, and then you have the audio that will guide them through this
Oh
meditation
wow.
for 5 to 10 minutes. And so this is now being currently used in 100 other districts across the county, as well as Atlanta public school districts. And some teachers and administrators, they're saying that they are noticing a difference in the classrooms already. And in the article that I was reading, a little girl who's 9 years old said that it's helped her with calming down and not stressing anymore. And one of her quotes was, "I love myself how I am, but Inner Explorer just helps me feel more like myself."
Oh wow.
I
I
thought that
like
was so
that.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
And how successful? Do you have any statistics on the amount of success or the success that this particular program has had, or any others around the country?
Outside of the teacher saying that they've just noticed some things, a lot of advocates are saying that this is much needed. And the program director, she was saying with Atlanta being she was saying Black youth have like the fastest growing in suicide rates. And so according to some of the statistics from the CDC, among Black children, teens are 10 to 17 increased in suicide, that's up by 144%. So with this program, they're not necessarily seeing a decrease, but they're seeing positive reactions from the students. And at the end of the day, when you think about our Black students in classrooms, there's not a lot of representation when it comes to psychologists and psychiatrists. So even having this program, like I said, with the push of a button, you can have some mindfulness inside of the classroom. So they haven't really done any big studies on what this is going to look like for the entire school year, because we just started the school year. But a lot of people and a lot of advocates are saying that this is really going to make a difference.
I really wish that people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area would do this, because this is something that really has been up Yolanda Stark's alley for a very long time, and something she's wanted to do. But people don't seem to get it, and I don't know what it'll take for.
I don't know that they don't get it. They just haven't figured out how to put it in, because unfortunately, from when I was working with school districts, their number one goal is really testing. And so they have to have every minute is accounted for. And unfortunately, from what I understand, they just didn't have time. But Aprylete, you're right. It really, when you said 5 to 10 minutes, that's really a long time for meditation. All you really need, if they can just take just 1 minute out, and 1 minute could really make a difference in you just really slowing down that central nervous system and just relaxing the mind and relaxing the body. Just a minute is long, but 5 minutes, that's a really long time. And so I never really understood why they couldn't figure out how to fit this in.
Or they weren't open to it.
Well, because schools are mostly open to academics and sports. And so they just don't have the mindset yet. But I feel very hopeful that we're moving in that direction. And I tell you, one thing that's going to be interesting is young people. Young people are going to bring us into it, because young people are really, really getting in touch, with themselves and with their mind and relaxing. I have a girlfriend who is she has she has 4 children. Now 2 of them are workers, and they go out and they work, and all of her children are really, really exceptionally smart. And she said the last 2, she's like, I don't know what I did wrong, because all they want to do is meditate and be around their crystals and do yoga. She's like, you got to get a job. But it's just great that we are in a position where young people are really aware of their mindfulness.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And choosing peace, because it brings a sense of calmness and stillness. And just imagine, like you said, 5 and 10 minutes is very long, but just 1 minute before that test.
Right. That's what I was thinking, to be able to implement that in the testing day.
And this program was seeing a lot of political kind of, like, I wouldn't say necessarily this program, but just bringing mindfulness into the classroom was seeing some political pushback, because of just the non-understanding of what this means. Because some people were saying teaching the children gender and sexuality and things like that, not necessarily knowing what mindfulness means.
Wait, huh?
Yeah, so hold on, I have to pull it up because it's in the article. So they were saying that mindfulness programs have gotten some political pushback because of the agenda, but I'm believing that's not just understanding what that is, like saying that this is maybe teaching some of the gender and the sexuality and things like that, and not necessarily understanding what the meditation is and what is actually being taught, because it's not a full curriculum. That word right there that I cannot pronounce.
Right.
Wow. I wish more people would get it. I think that and the more we tell success stories like this, the better, perhaps.
Yeah.
So that's one of the stories that we have in the newsletter. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. Please, and it's absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday. It's also the day that we salute Black Voters Matter. And Coy Malone is writing about the states, what's going on in this election year, and writes about the states of Arizona and Missouri are now on track to vote on abortion laws during the upcoming election. A growing number of states voting on this very important case, and the both the Arizona and Missouri elections could result in amendments to their constitutions to protect the right to abortions and thus female reproductive rights after the Supreme Court overturned the nationwide rights in 2022, of course, in the overturn of Roe versus Wade. And the Missouri's ballot will allow voters to amend the Constitution, establishing a right to make and carry out decisions about reproductive health care, including abortion and contraceptives, while removing the state's current abortion restrictions. And voting yes on this will end the state's abortion restrictions and restore freedom and dignity to make decisions about pregnancies. And what it is doing is taking a woman's reproductive rights out of the hands of what are primarily old white men
Mhm.
and putting it back into the hands of people that look like us,
Right.
brown and black and red and yellow and especially people who are much younger and are really living life, and they don't understand this, and especially as they're trying to fight off the brown invasion. And
Mm.
so
Uh-huh.
by preventing abortions, they believe that this will force young white girls to have babies and will increase their numbers. But they are quickly becoming the next minority in this country
Mm.
after Hispanics and Latinos.
They just fighting for their place. They just fighting to be
Because
president and
they
accounted for.
scared.
Yep.
Yes.
And speaking of fighting, Cameron Riley has been writing a series of articles this week about the 10-year anniversary, and I hate to use the anniversary, but the 10-year observation of the murder of Michael Brown in your neck of the woods, Aprylete, in Ferguson, Missouri. And one of one of the articles in today's newsletter is about DeRay McKesson, became the focal point of the national movement against police violence after the death of Michael Brown Jr. In August of 2014. So take a look at that, as well as the health updates, things to discuss with your gynecologist. This is for you, ladies, not necessarily for the men, but you know, if you go to a gynecologist, men,
Or if you have a wife or a daughter or a
I
friend,
was
it's
I
good
was
to
just
know.
I was just trying
Oh,
to just tell them, just don't forget to scoot down, um, and don't mind the cold instruments. Also in the newsletter, you'll find the wellness check. The soon-to-be birthday girl, Cherie White, grabbing your bar and diving into the leg workout. She is Miss Black and Fit, and so take a look at that and all of these, including a little known Black history fact, as well as the HBCU corner. All of that just chock full, that newsletter is every day. So please take a look at that, and we would love to have you be a part of the What You Need to Know news team. Once again, SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday. And if you have issues, also let us know that here, and we'll try to get those straightened out as well. And I haven't mentioned this in a long while. When you get it every day, when it comes in your email box, please open it.
open it.
Open it up.
Please, please. We would appreciate that. So let's move to what's really going on. And um, I think I want to do this because this is something that it always amazes me when someone reaches out to me and and just and not by text. They will call and say, "Hey, how you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while." Or or my friends will say, "I haven't gotten a card from you in a while." Well, I don't send cards the way that I used to, especially since a first class stamp is now over 70 cents.
Ooh.
But I do think about people, and we'll try to reach out to them. So my question is, in this day of having people like Aprylette and Yolanda, who are very secure in not going out and will reach out. Um, but they're okay with staying inside. No judgment. That was a no judgment button being pushed. But who is it that you need to reach out to? Who's that person you think? Because most recently was a friend of mine, Dana, who's really good. And she goes, I don't like to text, and I know that it's very easy to text and what have you. Um, but I was talking to a friend last night, and she went to help her sister who was recovering from surgery, and she got sick. My friend got very sick, and so I just, I know that, she goes to bed early because she works from home and she's helping her sister recover. So I just reached out and then I text her and she told me that, she has some sort of infection and, she's gotten really sick. So now the sick is tending to the sick. And that's the kind of thing you don't want to get that in a text and it wore her out just to text that. But who do you need to reach out to? Who do you need to, or you say, I need to call, or gosh darn it, I haven't talked to so and so in a very long time.
Are you asking, is there a specific person in our lives where it's just like
you don't have to. I mean, you just say it's an ex, or or you could say, just an old friend from college, or whatever it is. If you don't want to be that specific, but just trying to encourage people to reach out and to
Who would you say, Sybil? Who's on your list?
well, I will say that because I don't get home to Chicago very often, I need to check in on, and I still have my parents' house. I need to check in on the my next door neighbor, who is of an age now, and she, has had some health challenges, and just to hug her now is a whole different thing because she's so small, and she's, and you just realize, and because you don't see each other as often, you realize how time just has such an effect on all of us, and the person you may see every day or every week, you don't see the effects of time and aging the way you do if you see someone after months of being away. So that is one, and for pretty much those friends of my mom's who are of an age now who just try to reach out to them and call them on their birthdays instead of just sending a card even, just to have conversations with them.
Well, I have an ex boyfriend that I would like to track down to just to see how he's doing.
Would you like to give a name?
Ken.
You don't have to.
Ken. I'll say Ken.
Ken. Oh, Ken.
Ken.
oh, thank you, Ken.
Ken was so much fun. Oh my, his fun factor was so
Really
high.
hard.
And what was really cool, when we broke up, we still remained to be really good friends. So he ended up getting married, and I just haven't spoken with him in about 20 years. And I'm just curious, just how's he doing? Is he still happy and just living his life?
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did have a high fun factor.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, Aprylete.
But most of your exes had a high fun factor.
Well, except
We got to go down that memory lane.
oh, look at the time. How about let's go to
Okay, Sylvia Crawford, my sister in Austin. Your sister in Austin, Sylvia, and my cousin Sigrid, stay in touch with. So you need to stay in touch with them, or you're going to.
You know what? My sister lives in Houston. I am so proud of her. She is just such a great, positive individual that has raised 3 incredible children, and she is just living her life. And we don't talk that often, but whenever we talk, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really, really good. She's really amazing. She should be one of those people that I talk to more often because she's positive and she always have some good news and some information.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Because a lot of people just got a lot of this, and you want to hear this.
Yeah.
And you want to hear this.
Yeah.
I like that.
One of the things that I learned in being in morning radio is that, I would do birthday shout outs on the air and people were like, oh, thanks, I heard, and like, well, you could call me sometime too. It's
Mhm.
like, because if it's okay, you want a shout out, then but say, but I know you're okay because I hear you on the radio. Um, Now I get more calls because they don't watch this show as much, so as they do listen to the radio. So, but it's really interesting how people enjoy being contacted, but not necessarily to be the contactor.
Yeah.
Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think for me, I have been trying to be more mindful at if you cross my mind to just go ahead and send that text, or I probably won't call, but maybe just send out that text real quick because you crossed my mind, because it'll slip and then I'll just go on about my life. And
Right.
sometimes when I haven't really checked in with a lot of people, I'll just go through my phone and I'll like kind of look at old messages. I'm like, oh, let me reach out to X, Y, and Z and see how they're doing. Because
Nice.
really, when you're kind of in your day, and if they're not in your main ecosystem, like life just continues to move and you're just kind of moving and grooving it. Again, that does not mean that my heart is bad or in a different place, but it's just like, if you're not in my immediate ecosystem, honey, I wake up, I got Gucci, I go to bed, like everybody else. So it's just like,
I wake up, I got my dog, and I go to bed.
all the other
Sounds a
stuff
lot like your life, Yolanda.
Yes.
so it's just like
You two really
sometimes.
are kindred spirits.
Literally. So sometimes I just grab my phone and I'll scroll down through some old messages and I'm like, oh, well, let me circle back with Wooty Whoop and see how they doing. And I don't need a long, drawn out conversation. I just need a quick look. Hey, thinking about you. What's up? You good? I'm good. And we can move on. And then since I don't have social media, I'm kind of really like out of sight, out of mind.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my spiel.
Yeah, and
Sidebar, Sybil. I was told yesterday by a youngin that young people, for mental health reasons, are really, really being conscious of lessening their time on social media.
reducing,
And
yeah,
so
that's
how
true.
they would interact with each other off of social media, then that has really declined.
And one good example of that is Jordan Childs, the Olympic. She won the bronze, and then it was taken away from her. Um, she recently, after all of this falderall about her getting placing in fifth place, criticizing the judging, having them change that, then losing she got the bronze medal, then she lost it, and now they're still going through that. And
Right.
she has chosen, she said, for her mental health, she has gotten off of social media because people are so mean. They're racist and they're angry, and she just can't let that into her space. Do you find that, Aprylette, or did you find that?
Um, Honestly, like people, when I was on social media, people that were like followed me or supported me or whatever the case may be, they were always nice, but I always had a fear of that because that's what I've seen in other spaces.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm just a private person, so it was just very hard to keep up, especially after leaving the industry and things like that. I just really did not want to do it anymore because I was only doing it for work. Honestly, it was never really personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's just I'm okay without it, and yeah, it feels good. It feels good. It feels great.
Yeah.
I agree. And I do it for work purposes. I
Yeah.
don't do it because I don't do a Facebook thing necessarily. I mean, I'm connected to Facebook, but I don't, oh, we put it on Facebook. Like, well, it's not going
I'm
to get
used
through to me
to
because that's not what I do. It's really interesting how people do respond to. And Yolanda, you're like that too. You too have pulled back off of social media, like the youngins.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah, but I never really did social media like anybody because I don't really follow people because I don't care what they doing. I don't care what you eating. I don't care where you been. I don't care. I don't care.
and the
And
thing that gets me is these particular social media postings.
girl, I don't understand that.
I know. I'm
I
like,
just I I don't understand that. That's the thing.
You hit it.
That's the thing.
You hit it right on the nose.
That's amazing. I'm telling you, because I even looked on different people's social media that have like millions of followers, and a lot of them are just pictures of them.
Yeah.
That is bananas to me that I'm gonna just look at you in different outfits.
Yeah.
Just that concept, it just never made sense to me.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, this probably is way too deep, but it's like social media is in that type of regards, it can be so self-filling, and we are all meant to serve. So it's just like at the end of the day, if you're not using it for work, or you know how people are making money and things like that, like if it's self-fulfilling, like that's going to destroy you at some point. That's just how I feel. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
And we've seen a lot of people kind of lose it off of social media, or if they lose a follower, then they're off the deep end. So it's just like you gotta find a real healthy balance. So if the youngins are pulling back, I'm with them.
Yeah. Well, you are them.
I
Well, no, actually, she was no. Actually, when she told me, she wasn't talking about millennials. She was talking about the Gen Zs.
Oh, the younger
that they are
really in this. Like,
that they're more conscious, even at that young age, that they are more conscious of their mental health and not being as tied down as millennials were.
They're all the same to me.
We're so different, Sybil. We're so different.
You are different. Yes, you are. You're very different.
All right, so I got a couple for you.
Okay, all right. Charlotte Bowen Bellamy on Facebook. I just did that yesterday, Sybil. A friend of my old neighbor, I texted to see how she was doing and her parents. She travels a lot to do mission work, and she was happy to hear from me. That's great. That's great. And that's the kind of community that we've lost, and to have the ability to kind of reach out to those people from the old neighborhood, from our college days. I don't have people so much from my college days, but definitely from, and I don't really communicate with my friends from high school either. Pamela Sullivan on Facebook. Every time I do reach out, they want something.
Oh man,
they want money from me. Oh, Pamela, I'm sorry. Okay, Ring Pamela. Never mind. I don't. That's not, I don't. Well, now that you called, tab B on YouTube. If someone crosses my mind, I immediately say a prayer for them because I don't know what's going on in their lives. That's great. That's too.
Beautiful.
That's really great too. I had a friend who was one of 7 children, and sometimes once they left the house, her mother said they felt a little disconnected, because they were all just 7 kids all the time. And all in one house. And her mother was a good Irish Catholic and would go to church, go to mass every day. And each person had a day. And so the mother would call them at the end of the day and say, I prayed for you today. Oh. I prayed for you today, telling the sister. I prayed for you today, telling the other brother. I prayed, everyone had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on through the week. I think that's a great idea. Someone does. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. So I will do that too. I pray for you today. Yeah.
But here's the deal. If you tell me you go pray for me today, pray for me today.
Oh no, she really did.
No. I know she did. I'm talking about.
You think I wouldn't?
Other folks.
Whoever the yous are.
You
outside
think
of you.
The people behind you. She's talking about those people.
Thank you, Aprylete.
Santa would pray for you.
But you know how people say that, Sybil. You know how people throw that around.
What they do is I'll keep you in my prayers, and then
and they ain't even pray. They ain't even pray for themselves. Okay, they don't even pray before they eat. So don't keep me in your prayer.
Right.
You're right. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Okay. All right. Well, point well made, I guess. But thank you for allowing me to kind of go through that, because I just think to be mindful, if we're going to talk about mindfulness, I think to be mindful about other people, not only about ourselves in the way that we approach people, but be mindful of how people receive it and what that means to both us and to them.
On the end of that, if I can just add, to be really useful, we developed, as you know, Aprylete. Hold on for a second.
Ramsey.
check in and check up, where we encourage people to, call somebody and check in and ask them, have they gone and gotten a checkup, and really check on them and their health.
And what month is this, Yolanda?
This is National Have a Will Month. Just encouraging people to make sure that they have their wills.
Yes.
So let's check in and check up and say, you put me in your will.
You put me in the wheel.
Sometimes I just amuse myself. All right, let's move to but it is about checking in and checking up, and I understand the necessity of that, and it does seem, especially like in our production meetings, the youngins really appreciate that. I'm not one to do that, but Yolanda is, and so and full disclosure, I just want to get about the business and then see y'all in the week. But Yolanda's like, how you doing? What's the good thing that's happened to you this week? What's the bad? What are you going to take into this week? What are you going to do to make this world a better and brighter place? What are you? And I'm like, can we just?
Well, because Sybil, if you want
on.
to go there, the psychology behind that is if you make a connection with someone, you would as a leader, if you connect with them, you would be better apt to get more of productivity out of them, as opposed to just being cold and going about the business.
Well, fine. Let's just finish the show and we'll go about the business.
Well, I'm just saying, because do
No?
you remember when Tom was brilliant at this, and this is really who I got it from, when we first got together, Aprylete, when Tom first put together his group of people. He got all of us, he took us all to Jamaica, and he rented a house. We all stayed in the same house, and we went out and we bonded.
Love that.
And it really worked. We really did get closer, and we looked out for each other. It wasn't just going to work and Nurse Sally, but it's you really become, closer, where you're looking out for each other outside of just getting this done mechanically.
It makes a difference, especially with smaller teams and so intimate in creative spaces. It definitely makes a difference for sure.
And why not?
Sybil.
Because the game is about to come on.
And she need her a Coke.
and I'm empty. I'm empty. That's okay. That's one way of looking at it. Let's move to trending. I love to say that because she says that because it's always in some sort of disagreement. Well, that's one way of looking at it. Hacking is in the news. A new lawsuit is claiming that hackers have gained access to the personal information of billions of individuals, including their social security numbers, current and past addresses, and the names and siblings and parents. All of that, give us your mother's maiden name and that kind of stuff, and other types of personal data that could allow fraudsters to infiltrate financial accounts or take out loans in the names of people they have hacked.
Oh, wow.
The allegation rose in a lawsuit filed earlier this month by a man by the name of Christopher Hoffman, a California resident who claims his Identity Theft Protection Service alerted him that his personal information had been leaked to the dark web by the National Public Data.com breach. The lawsuit was reported by Bloomberg Law, and the breach allegedly occurred around April of this year with a hacker group called USDOD, exfiltrating the encrypted personal information of billions of individuals from a company called National Public Data, a background check company. That's what they do. They check the backgrounds of people applying for jobs or
oh, wow, yeah,
personal information for if you're renting an apartment or whatever. They leaked the version of the stolen data for free on a hacking forum tech site called, according to Bleeping Computer. The hacker claimed stolen files include 2.7 billion records, with each listing a person's full name, address, date of birth, social security number, and phone number. While it's unclear how many people that includes, it's likely that anyone with a social security number has been affected. This is according
Everybody
to
in
the
America?
director. I'm sorry, say again.
No, I was saying everybody in America because we all have socials, right?
Yeah. This is according to the Director of Information Security and Engagement at the National Cybersecurity Alliance, a nonprofit that promotes online safety. National Public Data is a data company based in Coral Springs, Florida, provides background checks for employers, investigators, and other businesses that want to check into people's backgrounds. They search the criminal records, the vital records, the social security traces, and more information. And the number of people affected by the breach is unclear, as you asked, April, but lawsuit claims that billions of individuals had their data stolen, and the total population of the U.S. stands at about 330 billion people. It also alleges that the data includes personal information of deceased individuals,
Oh,
and they say that the hacked data involves, as I said, 2.7 billion records, individuals having multiple records in the database. I know this sounds very well for me. It's scary, but I really think that we should have somebody on, Yolanda, to talk about this. To talk about, there's LifeLock and there's other organizations. You ask them to keep an eye out on your information, and if if a company that you've done business with is hacked and they have your information, you want to know what to do about it. I just today went to the mailbox and had, saying that there was a data breach for Ticketmaster, I think it was.
mm.
And so it's scary, but just
Wow, Sybil, check this out.
Yeah.
This is an interesting idea.
keep your credit scores low. Shirley and Tony Davis says on Facebook, keep your credit scores low because they won't be checking for you.
You know what's so wild? Thinking about bringing somebody on, we can bring back Arnez,
Mhm.
who talked to us about data privacy. He's a great resource. And I read
I
too.
think about him often.
Yeah, we can definitely.
Explorers.
I'll
Yeah.
reach out to him and let's see what we can get going so he can kind of talk about this data privacy. And I kind of read they were talking about credit scores and if you feel that you've been hacked, like you could put a alert on your credit score like to freeze it. But I will say if you do freeze your credit,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a year for that alert to come off. So if you're looking to maybe get a credit card or buy a car or anything like that in between that time, it's going to be very difficult. So definitely think twice before putting that fraud alert protection on your credit score because it is hard to get off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of in this situation, it's like, what do we do? So, definitely. Oh, go ahead.
Sybil.
Gwen Webb on Facebook. I've had my credit frozen since 2021 because I had my credit card stolen out of the mail, and they bought a 49 carat diamond watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God. They closing out the story. It says it's a reminder of the importance of protecting yourself because clearly companies and the government are not doing it for us.
Right.
Got to take our own measures,
Yeah. So let's bring your friend on again and talk about it and try to come up with some effective solutions to save ourselves.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry, charges in the Matthew Perry death in October of last year, when the actor was found unresponsive in a hot tub at his home in Los Angeles. He was pronounced dead that afternoon, just a few days before August 19th, on what would have been his 55th birthday, next Monday. 5 people had been charged in connection with the Friends star's death from the acute effects of ketamine.
Mm.
During a Thursday morning press conference, Martin Estrada, the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, announced a number of charges against 5 defendants, including a doctor identified as 42-year-old Salvador Plasencia and Perry's live-in assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, age 59. The defendants in this case knew what they were doing was wrong, according to the attorney there, and this is the U.S. attorney said they knew what they were doing was wrong, and it is a drug that must be administered by medical professionals, and the patient must be monitored closely. That did not occur here.
But what's
And
crazy about that, I mean, just not just this, But when people do crazy criminal stuff, why text?
Right.
They put this information, they put it in a text. Why do that?
Yeah. You just not thinking, I guess, or they think that, they think they're not going to get caught or whatever it is.
He's gonna
I mean, that
survive.
was the truth. Wasn't that the same thing with Michael Jackson's doctor? He was texting his girlfriend at the time that this was going on, and that's how they got the text, and were able to.
Well, this is different because they were admitting what they were doing and
Yeah, they tried to cover up what they did.
calling him dumb. We go get as much out of him as we can, and just a whole lot of
Yeah, because the amount of money that they got him to pay for this ketamine, and the amount of ketamine that was injected into his body, no other drugs, because they said he had been clean for a while. The amount of ketamine they put in his body is what they give to people to put them under for surgery.
Oh,
The lead defendants in this case are the two that I mentioned, the Dr. Placentia, the ketamine queen of North Hollywood, identified as Jasmine Sanga, as well as an additional trio of co-conspirators, and another doctor, Dr. Mark Chavez. It's criminal. And then you think about all of the lives that of people in Hollywood or stars in entertainment that have been affected by this. Like I mentioned, Michael Jackson, going back to even with Elvis Presley and Prince, riding a bike to get a prescription filled, for the pain that he was going in, and it's just so tragic. And Michael K. Williams, remember that he they uh, filed charges against the man who was his drug dealer. Remember that? Michael K. Williams from what, The Wire?
Did he die? But he died.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so did these others.
So you're saying he filed?
No. The authorities filed
Oh
against
yeah,
drug
the
dealer.
drug dealer.
yeah, because they had laced his drugs with fentanyl.
And that's propofol was Michael Jackson's drug of choice. Simone Biles' biological mother says that she wants to reconcile and would like to make amends to her daughters. After decades of being out of her daughters' lives, she wants to make things right. When Simone was a toddler, she was placed in foster care as her mother, Shannon Biles, battled drug and alcohol addiction. Simone's maternal grandparents, Ron and Miss Nellie, stepped in and adopted her and her sister, Adria, in 2003. Shannon Biles said in a recent interview she'd like to make up for the lost time, but it's leaving it up to Simone and Adria to set it up. I would like to make amends with her personally. I'm just waiting for her and her younger sister. This was in an interview with the Daily Mail. She said, I would speak to Adria more than I speak to Simone, and I would just ask her to forgive me. Can we move forward? Don't judge me on my past. Let's move forward. The 52-year-old Shannon Biles said, I'm waiting for the opportunity, but I'm waiting on her to be able to come to me. Let's sit down. I just have to be patient. And despite the distance and the break in their relationship, she has been watching her career from a distance. And she threw a party at her Ohio home after Simone won her 7th gold medal at the Paris Olympics just a couple of weeks ago.
That was sweet.
What do you all think?
That's their business. Why do we even know this?
Well, we know it because she gave an interview to the Daily Mail.
Why would she do that? If she want to reconcile with her daughter, why go public to embarrass her? Like, why do we even have this information?
I don't see it as embarrassment. That's one way to look at it, but I don't see it as embarrassment. I see it as a cry, for trying to make
help
a
to
connection
make
with
it
her
work.
daughter.
Well, I hope that works out for her.
Okay. Let's move to entertainment. This is not so much entertaining as it is interesting, and it's good news. A teenager who created a soap.
Let us judge that, Sybil.
No, I'm judging.
Oh, okay.
A teenager who created a soap that could transform skin cancer treatment was chosen as the 2024 Kid of the Year by Time Magazine and Time for Kids. His name is Ayman or Heman Bakale, from Annandale, Virginia, is a 15-year-old scientist who would change how we treat skin cancer. It's absolutely incredible to think that one day my bar of soap will be able to make a direct impact on
Wow,
somebody
that's
else's
cool.
life.
I love
Was I
that.
wrong?
No, you're
No,
right. You're
that
right.
was
Ding,
nice.
ding, 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 ding. You
But
win.
I
That's
will say we have to protect this little boy because folks, when they come up with all of these great inventions when it comes to cancer, I don't know if this is conspiracy, but something always end up happening in America because they want to keep the money rolling. That's all I'm saying. So this is
Oh,
the future.
wow.
well, I hope that he is under the guidance of people who are, or, well, lawyers and with patents and things like that,
Yeah.
as well as lawyers who can protect them from lawsuits and companies that would seek to do wrong, but using him
Yeah.
as their pawn in this business. I think that is something.
Is he one of us?
Yes,
He is?
Iman Bakale. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So
Or
great.
Amon. It's Amon or Heman. It's spelled like He-Man. Hemanbekele.
Oh, wow.
15 years old
From where?
from Annandale, Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah. He said, one day my soap will have a direct impact on somebody else's life. The reason I started this all in the first place, there would be more accessible way to deliver medication to treat skin cancers, especially melanoma.
Mm,
And he's it's just an incredible story. It's a feel
That
good
is a
story
great story.
as far as I'm concerned,
yeah.
and I just I'm very proud. I like, and that's one thing that I'd like to bring in our newsletter is those feel good stories
Absolutely.
that do things for people. And just as an aside, check out our newsletter on Friday because we do talk about the effort by the Biden Harris uh, campaign or the Biden Harris administration, I should say, to lower the price of medications for our elderly. A tremendous boost in saving people money, and especially for not just diabetics drugs as they did in the first round, but 10 life saving drugs for diabetes, for heart disease, for cancers, blood cancers especially, can make a difference and going to save people a lot of money. So
Mm.
Wow.
take a look at that. Let's close out with your jewel, Yolanda.
Before you do that, are you getting yourself together so you can get some rest for next week? The DNC. Are you excited?
Oh,
We got
it's just like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. We
I
gonna
mean,
see. You
I mean,
so caught up that you can't sleep, you can't eat. We'll see.
well, I do
I'm
admit.
just telling you to get yourself together, get you some rest, pace yourself, get you some food in the
Is that
house.
why you wouldn't let me go to the DNC? Because you were afraid that I would get so caught up if I was there?
No, you should. As a matter of fact, hold on after this. I'm going to offer you something.
Okay. A,
Ooh.
a one-on-one with President to be Harris?
Maybe.
Okay. How
Listen.
about the jewel?
Okay. Past experiences guide future choices. Use the lesson from previous decision to make wiser choices in the future.
Hmm.
Learn from what you've done in the past.
Use that as a lesson.
Yep.
Did did she, her, and them? All of you get that, Aprylette?
Absolutely. I received.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks everybody for participating. Thank you, Yolanda and Aprylette, for indulging me. And you guys go out there and have a great week. Be good to each other and knock, knock, knock. Check on one you love. Take care.